All right, let's jump right in. We're about to crack the code on a topic that can feel a bit tricky in SCMPE, variable overhead variances. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll see it's actually a pretty logical puzzle, and you'll be able to handle any question they throw at you. Ready? Let's do this. Okay, so let's put this into the real world. Picture this. You've got a bakery, right? Business is good. But then you get the electricity bill, and whoa, it's way over budget. And here's the kicker. You made exactly the number of cakes you planned. So what happened? Did the power company jack up the prices? Or were your ovens running for way too long? How on earth do you figure out the real culprit?
Well, that's exactly where variance analysis becomes our best friend. Seriously, think of it as our forensic toolkit. It's not just about knowing that you're over budget. That's the easy part. This is about putting on your detective hat and figuring out precisely why. It lets us zoom in and find the exact source of the problem.
All right, every good investigation starts with the first big clue, right? For us, that's the total variable overhead variance. This is the big, flashing red light. It's the number that tells us, hey, something's not right here. It's the alarm bell that kicks this whole process off.
So what does that actually mean in plain English? It's pretty simple, really. It's just the gap between what we planned to spend on overheads for the stuff we made and what we actually ended up spending. It's the plan versus reality, plain and simple. And here it is, the formula you need for the exam. This is our main clue, the thing that tells us the size of our problem. But listen, just knowing this formula isn't enough, right? To really solve the mystery and get those top marks, we have to dig deeper into what these terms really mean. Okay, lean in for this one because this is where a lot of people trip up. We have to get these keywords right. First up, standard variable overheads for production. This is your should-have cost. You figure it out by taking the standard hours you should have needed for what you actually made, and you multiply that by the standard rate. Simple enough? But then there's the second term, and this is the tricky one. Budgeted variable overheads for actual hours. See the difference? Here, you take the hours you actually worked and multiply by that same standard rate. It's should have worked versus actually worked. It seems like a small detail, but trust me, understanding this tiny difference is the absolute key to unlocking the next two variances.
Okay, time to line up our suspects. Suspect number 1 is all about the price. We call this the expenditure variance. Did we just pay too much for our electricity?
The logic here is super focused. This variance doesn't care one bit about how long the ovens were running. It asks one and only one question. For every single hour we were running, did we pay the price for electricity we thought we were going to pay, or did we get hit with a higher rate? It's all about isolating the price factor. So if you look at the formula, you'll see how it works its magic. We take the actual hours we worked and multiply that by the difference between our planned rate and the actual rate. And here's the genius part. Using actual hours as the base freezes the time element. It takes time out of the equation completely, so we can focus only on the price. Did we pay more or less per hour? That's all this formula tells us, and it does it perfectly. So what's the bottom line? Simple. If you get a favorable result, hey, great job. You managed to pay less per hour than you planned. Maybe you negotiated a better deal. But if it's adverse, you paid more. And for the exam, this is your cue to think, why? Was there an unexpected price hike? Did a contract expire? That's the kind of critical thinking that will get you the marks. Okay, so we've looked at the price, but what if the price was fine? We have to look at our second suspect, which is all about time. It has nothing to do with the cost per hour, but everything to do with how many hours we used. And this, my friends, is the efficiency variance.
Let's go back to our bakery. The efficiency variance completely ignores the price of electricity. All it asks is, hey, for all those cakes we baked, did we use the amount of oven time we thought we would, or did we take longer? Now, in an exam, this is where you start brainstorming. Was it a new employee who was a bit slow? Did we get bad ingredients that needed more baking time? Was a machine breaking down? See? This variance points you straight to problems on the factory floor.
And the formula for this is just as clever as the last one. We take the standard rate, our planned cost per hour, and we multiply it by the difference in time, the time we should have taken versus the time we actually took. See what happened there? It's the reverse of the expenditure formula. This time we're holding the price steady so we can isolate the time factor. It's a beautiful, clean way to measure one thing and one thing only, our efficiency. Interpreting the result? Super easy. Favorable means your team was on fire. They were faster than planned. Adverse means things took longer than they should have. And again, for your exam, an adverse result is a giant flashing sign that says, dig deeper. Was there poor training? Were people having to redo work? This variance gives you the starting point for a real investigation.
Okay, we've grilled our two main suspects, price and time. Now it's time for the big reveal. Let's bring it all together, close this case, and see exactly how they explain the entire mystery.
And this is the beautiful part. This is how it all connects. The price variance and the time variance, they aren't two separate stories. You simply add them together, and guess what? They will always, and I mean always, equal the total variance we started with. It's perfect. They are the two pieces of the same puzzle. And honestly, this is the entire reason we do this. This is what separates a good answer from a great one in your exam. You can't just say, hey, we're over budget. You need to be the hero who walks in and says, look, we're over budget for two very specific reasons. First, we paid more per hour for electricity. Second, our team took longer than they should have. Bam. Now, instead of a vague problem, the business has two specific things they can go and fix. That's real, actionable insight.
Okay, you've got the logic down cold. Now let's sear these formulas into your brain so you're ready for exam day. It's time for a quick fire formula flash. Ready?
First, expenditure variance. This is all about price. It's your actual hours times the difference in your rates. Simple.
Next, efficiency variance. This is all about time. It's your standard rate times the difference in your hours. And finally, the total variance, the big picture. It's the gap between your standard and actual overheads. And remember, it's always just the other two added together.
And that's it. You're now officially equipped with the complete forensic kit to dissect any variable overhead problem. You're not just a number cruncher anymore, you're a detective who can explain the why behind the numbers. So the only question left is, what mystery are you going to solve next?